Well, here's a video I wasn't expecting to do for a week or two. I got my Analogue NT Mini in the mail probably 4 days ago. My unit was $495 or whatever it is, and I can't remember what the upgrade was other than I got the black. And shipping was about 40 bucks, and it was UPS ground, so that's what the big cost was there. But it took about a week to get it, and then UPS ground usually seems like it's faster than that, so I don't really know what happened there. But I wasn't expecting to do this video for a little while because since I work so closely with Kevtris, I kind of knew about this and was going to wait and do this video once it was announced. But Kevin's already announced it, that he has put out jailbreak firmware for the Analogue NT Mini. The official announcement was made, I think, 2 days ago or something on Atari Age. He has a thread there called the FPGA based video game system, and that thread kind of started, it might have been a couple years ago, I can't remember exactly when, but all because of that Coleco Chameleon console or whatever. He was invited to be involved with that and declined, and that's when he started announcing the Zimba 3000, and that's basically what this thread is about. If you want to go to the thread, I'll put a link in the description probably. I actually put a link directly to the announcement post in the thread. It was post like 1037 on page 42. That's when he announced it. So there's a lot of this thread that has nothing to do with the Analogue NT Mini and more about the Zimba 3000 and whatnot. But there is, let's see, 4 polls at the top of each page of the thread. And he wanted to know how much people would be willing to pay, what systems you wanted supported, and I think that's mostly just about 8-bit versus 16-bit, etc. How the games run on SD card or cart, and then what video outputs you wanted. Definitely go to the top of the page and click on the polls. I think you have to be a subscriber or a member of the forums to do that, but you don't have to be a member to see the thread and read it. So this week's, let's see, Kevin said once a week or so, depending on how much time it takes, he's going to release more cores for this thing to run. He already has like 20 or 25 cores, maybe more than that now, of systems that he has reverse engineered to work on the Zimba 3000. So he has to do a few tweaks, I guess, to get them to work on the Mini. This week was just the NES core, and basically what that means is that your Analogue NT will not only work with cartridges, Nintendo and Famicom, but now it will run ROMs off the SD card. On top of that, it also adds CopyNS support. If you don't know what CopyNS is, that's also a thing from Kevtris from a long time ago to dump the data off of a cartridge. So if you have some rare game that nobody's ever seen before, this is what you did back in the day. You took a CopyNS and you got the data off of it, and then you had the ROM to it, and then you could play the ROM on emulators and whatnot. Well, these days the CopyNS is a little less used because most games have been dumped. But it is still useful. Like for what I do, if I sell a repro, you can stick it in there and dump it, and then you can check the CRCs against each other, what you dumped and the original files, and make sure they match. And that way you know whatever you burned on that repro is exactly as it's supposed to be. It's very, very useful. The NES core also will do game saves to the SD card, and it has better mapper support than any flash cart that exists. I think it's over 200 mappers that he supports right now. Save states are not yet a thing, but probably will be added. One other thing that was pointed out was that Analogue NT does not support the jailbreak firmware. However, they will still warranty your system if you are using the jailbreak firmware. It cannot be bricked. You cannot brick the FPGA or the system. You just can't. Simply to revert back to the original NES core that only plays cartridges, just take your SD card out. It automatically goes back to what it was originally programmed to do. Kevin says, I think all you have to do is exit out of the core menus. So once you're in the menus and exit out, it just goes back to being the Analogue NT Mini as it was meant to be when you first bought it. Also, there is already another firmware update for the Analogue NT Mini from Analogue. I guess there was a couple complaints, and Kevin's already addressed them. Something about the how to select stuff. The A and B buttons are backwards from what people wanted, so Kevin added a switch on there to cross them. There was something else, and I can't remember what it was. Pretty minor stuff. So I have not heard like what the next core is supposed to be for the Mini. I'm assuming Atari 2600. I don't know that for certain yet, but it would be likely. The FPGA is not big enough, or there's not enough RAM for it to do 16-bit systems. But I think it will do it in television, and he considers that 16-bit somehow. I'm not sure. So SNES, Genesis, PC Engine, and anything newer than that probably not going to run on the Mini. But I think he's trying to plan the Zimba 3000 to have those and run those. And there's no word on when that's going to happen. It's definitely one of his next big projects that will be going on. But as far as the Analogue NT Mini goes, his plan is to offer cartridge and controller port adapters for this console, so you can use original equipment, cartridges, and controllers on this console. Those will most likely be sold in my store once we figure out how to do those. The PCB will just be a pass-through device. It's just a pin-out thing. There's no active components on it, but he's planning on having some kind of plexiglass shell on them to make them nice. He said the first controller adapter he wanted to try was a DB9, so all Atari, Coleco, television, stuff like that. And actually Sega Genesis, come to think about it. Those controllers will be able to be used. Let's see, anything else? Yeah, as far as what this thing will do, as far as the jailbreak firmware, I mean, all you really need to do is to download it from the thread. I'll probably put a link on my site too, and make a page dedicated just to the jailbreak firmware for the Analogue NT Mini, because if we plan to sell cartridge adapters and stuff like that for it, then I might as well have a dedicated page for it on my site. But it's simply just download the zip file and unzip it onto the SD card. There are a bunch of details that are not quite put all into one place yet, so maybe I'll do that on my site. But things like, okay, once you update the firmware, do you have to leave the firmware on the SD card? No. Kevin says that the Mini looks for newer firmware, and if it finds it, then it's an update, and it takes about 3 minutes to update the firmware. And he said something about loading cores. If you select a different core, it takes about 19 seconds, something like that. So I'm going to open mine up finally. I have been waiting 4 or 5 days. I've actually stopped shipping high-def NES kits just so I could do this video. All high-def NES kits from 2016 are shipped or going to be shipped. And the next couple days I'll probably get caught up with every other pre-order. So I thought, I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. So, taking 4 or 5 hours to do this video wasn't that big of a deal. And I just want to see it. I paid good money for this, so I want to play with it a little bit here. So we get a top-down view, and we're going to unbox this thing. So I don't know if you could see it in the first shot, but this is even the box is got the Analogue logo on it. I've never bought anything from them before. I didn't buy the regular NT. Kind of wish I would have. It is obsolete now. Well, that's pretty nice. Oh, this thing's sealed? It is. We're going to get some collector's buying multiples of this thing just so they can leave it in the box sealed. I've actually already seen this, but the ones that I've seen are not black. Kevtris had a plain aluminum one. It was kind of unfinished, but oh, that's awesome. How did that get on there? Are those Japanese or Chinese characters? And we got the clear bottom, which I find kind of useless because you can't see anything. There needs to be a giant logo there or something to look at. I don't know if they're individually serial numbered or not. So yeah, there's I don't know if this is on the website or not. I don't remember seeing it, but the RGB component S-Video composite all come from this one port, and there's supposed to be adapters available. And maybe I just didn't research it enough. Obviously, I don't care about them. All I care is about HDMI. Right, left audio, microphone input, so you can play the Famicom games that have a microphone input. They even said on their frequently asked questions something about using headphones for this. You could just plug cheap headphones in there and I guess scream into those and it would recognize it. And that's our power button. Huh. Now, come to think about it, I'm not sure what the DB15 port is for. But yeah, there's already some features that I know about that, or I knew about. With the LED up in here, you can mess with that in the menu. That was pretty cool. How necessary that was. Looks like a heat vent. Bottom and top. It's not like your controller ports are not sealed. No, it's not like they are sealed. This must be the fix for the being friendly to cartridges right here. Kind of feels rubbery almost. I don't know if it's just I don't know what that is. It's not metal. Some kind of coating on there. But some people were complaining that the cartridges were getting scratched, I guess, from the flaps. Your 8-bit dough. Yes, it's 8-bit dough. Like Nintendo. Universal AC adapter. HDMI cord. And USB. This one's on here. UK. Strange. Let's see, 12 volt 1 amp, normal polarity, positive tip. Looks like a normal 5.5, 2.5. 2.5 or 2.1, I can't tell. Probably 2.5. Already got HDMI cord, so I'll just leave that one sealed up in there. I guess there's not much to know. How to pair the controller and receiver. Oh, obviously, Famicom expansion port. And we got a selection of hotkeys. You can power your NT Mini on or off with the controller. That's pretty cool. Reset game. Video switch. I guess that's the output, video output switch. Switch between outputs. Oh, there's a controller test menu. Hold down on power up. Cool. I didn't know he put that in there. Reset to default. Hold start on power up. Clean your games. The user guide is online. Typical. Do not insert 2 cartridges at once. Only use the AC adapter included with your NT Mini. I don't know why he says stuff like that. Okay. So I've just plugged it in, I haven't turned it on yet, and we actually have a standby LED mode, looks like, because I am in HDMI-S. And I didn't show it, but the SD card slot is on the left side. Let's see, I believe you don't need to turn it off to change cartridges. It's kind of like a Retron 5 like that. I guess they wanted A to be the select and not B. Is there a hotkey for reset game? Reset select up. Excellent. Now what? It's still running, but my looks like my power pack's dirty. My LED doesn't seem to want to be on all the time. What's up with that? Never mind. I'm sitting there thinking there's something wrong, but the power pack doesn't run Castlevania 3. So analog output does work along with HDMI output. Yep. So we have salvation. It does work. At least now I can at least play with it and then proceed on to actually jailbreak this thing. Okay, so jailbreak software has been put onto the SD card. Download zip file from Kevtris' link on the Atari Age forum. Unzipped it, put all the files onto the card, deleted the original 1.9 firmware update from Analogue. Don't need it. And put a bunch of ROMs into the NES folder. And it's doing its update again, so I'll come back in a few minutes. That was interesting. I don't think that took 3 minutes. So yeah, we can play NSFs with this as well. And there's my ROMs. A bit of a glitch going on right there. I think it automatically sorts. So it's one of those left, right. Not like the Power Pack where you just scroll through all the way. Can't go left though. To go to the end, that'd been nice. If I remember, the EverDrive is more like this. And I can't see the whole ROM file name either, which I think he said something about that as well. So apparently if you get a bad header file, see, I need to get the Smoke Monster ROM pack put on here. I don't want to sign up for another forum that I'm never going to go to ever again, so I might just have somebody send me the ROM pack. One of the things that I didn't really mention yet was about the expansion audio. With the jailbreak software running ROMs, it actually automatically turns on expansion audio. So you don't have to go in there and turn anything on. If you run Gimmick or whatever, then the Sunsoft 5B chip is automatically turned on. I think that's really cool. Wish could have implemented that in the high-def NES, but it just wasn't possible. So yeah, I've been playing with it for a little while, and it's really easy to get used to. You know, just takes a little time. Really looking forward to more cores. I don't know what the next one is. I haven't heard from Kevin. I did ask. Yeah, like I said, I assume it's 2600, but I don't know. So, if you wanted a FPGA-based system, this is the best one available right now. Until the Zimba 3000 comes out, this is it. This is king of the hill. It really is. I would say within a few months we'll have all the cores out for it that he can implement for this thing too. And then hopefully maybe next year or something we'll get the Zimba 3000. You know, and hopefully within a few months we'll get cartridge adapters for this one too. And just keep watching my Twitter feed or my YouTube videos or my website to see when those become available. I'm sure I'll do more videos about it. So that's it for now.